What is up, fight fans? This is DJC Combat, and in this video, I just want to give my early thoughts on the first pay-per-view of June, UFC 302. In another video, I might talk about McGregor versus Chandler. I could have done a video on that like a little sooner. I might wait to talk about that one for a bit, but in this video, I want to talk about just this pay-per-view, particularly the main event and the co-main event. And my thoughts just on Dustin getting a title shot against Islam Makhachev, and all obviously my predictions too. Who knows? I might even do like a. I don't think I'll do a full card prediction video for this pay per view, just because it doesn't look that good. I mean, there's Nico Price, Jeremiah Wells, Roman Dolidze, Anthony Hernandez. Okay, these fights actually aren't half bad. Jeremiah Wells and Nico Price should actually be a pretty good fight. Roman Dolidze, Anthony Hernandez is only a good fight if Anthony Hernandez wins. But these are like the two standout fights. Sean Strickland versus Paulo Costa, and it's 5 rounds. And then Islam Makhachev versus Dustin, the Diamond Poirier. I'm going to talk about this one first. Makhachev and Poirier. And what are Dustin Poirier's chances? I mean, personally, I think they're very slim, obviously. Islam is like the logical favorite in this matchup against Dustin Poirier because he has a clear stylistic advantage. Dustin doesn't have the greatest takedown defense in the world, and Islam Makhachev is one of the best offensive grapplers in the world, and he's dominant with his style, what he brings to the table. A lot of people, they know what he wants to do. No one seems to be able to stop it. He is like the protege of Khabib. He's like Khabib with better striking. So good luck to Dustin Poirier. Although he's less durable than Khabib, so maybe there's a better chance for Dustin to knock out Islam Makhachev. But even I don't see that happening. And I mean, we saw what Benoit Saint-Denis was able to do to Dustin Poirier in that fight, the way he was able to kind of overwhelm him with that pressure, land the shots he was able to land, and then get the takedowns he was able to get the back of Dustin Poirier multiple times. If Benoit can have you in that kind of trouble and can get you in those positions, I can only imagine that it'll be worse if Makhachev does. But the difference between Makhachev and Benoit is Makhachev has better defense and better striking than Benoit Saint-Denis. He's going to be a lot trickier for the Diamond to hit. And of course, when Dustin jumps Gilly, instead of defending a takedown, he's going to end up in a world of trouble on the ground with Islam, and it could be the beginning of the end for him. But wouldn't it be funny? Wouldn't it be funny if of all times and against of all opponents, the one time his guillotine is successful is against Makhachev for the undisputed title of all times against all people? It's Makhachev who he beats by guillotine to become the undisputed champ. That would be extremely funny. That would be laughable. And if the Diamond finally becomes the undisputed lightweight champion of the world, I would cry of happiness because I'm a huge Dustin fan. It would mean the world to see. It would mean the world for me to see Dustin become the champ finally, not just interim, but undisputed. He could ride off into the sunset after that. We would all love that to happen, but it's very unlikely. I mean, maybe, just maybe he can catch Islam on an off night, or maybe he catches him off guard with a good punch. Maybe he survives some of the grappling of Islam in like the first round, and maybe round two it starts on the feet, and then maybe Dustin, like in that Khabib fight, is able to hurt Islam, but because Islam isn't as durable as Khabib, maybe he's able to get the finish. But it is very unlikely, so I do think that Makhachev will win this fight. I do think Dustin is in trouble in this fight. I think he'll go 0-3 in undisputed title fights, but I can only hope to be wrong. As for Sean Strickland versus Paulo Costa, I think Paulo's going to get lit up in this fight, and it does not help Paulo that it's a 5-round fight. Sean Strickland has better cardio than Paulo Costa, even though lately Costa's cardio has actually looked a lot better, and he actually looked good over 5 rounds against Vettori and was winning the late rounds against Marvin. Sean Strickland is not Marvin Vettori. Sean Strickland is a very high level elite boxer, way better striker than Paulo Costa. And I mean, I know MMA math does not always math, but look at these two guys against Izzy. One of them outclassed Izzy, shockingly, for 5 rounds. One of them got outclassed by Izzy and didn't last 2 rounds. So based off that, I mean, there's levels, and I think Sean Strickland, he's at a different level in comparison to Paulo Costa. Also, just way more consistent than Paulo Costa. I don't see how Paulo wins this fight, especially now that it's 5 rounds. If it was like a 3 rounder, I could see maybe Paulo winning like the first couple rounds with his pressure. Maybe Sean's hesitant a bit early, but then maybe comes back in the third, but Paulo could win 29-28. But it's a 5 round contest. That does not help. That does not help. That does not help Paulo Costa, because Sean Strickland does get stronger as the rounds go on. It's been 5 rounds more, and I think he just has more 5 round experience. And yeah, I just think Sean's a different caliber. I think Sean will piece him up. And I just don't see Paulo being able to finish him. I mean, Paulo Costa could not finish Luke Rockhold. Old man Chinny Luke Rockhold, he couldn't knock him out. And Sean Strickland is a very hard man to finish. I mean, Jared Cannonier is a very powerful, dangerous striker. And Sean Strickland survived the full distance with him, made it close. Dricus du Plessis, a dangerous knockout artist. Sean went the distance with him, and it was extremely close. I don't think Paulo is as good as Cannonier or Dricus du Plessis, and he's nowhere near as powerful as the other two. His finishes come from his combinations. If he's going to finish you, you got to be old and chinny, or you got to be a B-level bum. And I know I've called Strickland a bum in the past. I don't rate Sean that highly, but he is pretty good, so I think Sean should win this fight pretty easily. I think he'll just jab Paulo to death, land better, more effective combos, not let Paulo bully him against the cage, and Paulo will just stand in the center of the octagon, sticking his tongue out, being useless when he sees that he has nothing for Sean Strickland. And I think Sean will win this fight 48-47, 49-46. I think Sean gets back in the win column and then immediately will start protesting for a title shot. I think he's going to start asking for the winner of du Plessis versus Adesanya, although that's going to go to the winner of Whittaker Khamzat. So he's going to need to get in line. Should be an entertaining fight, though. I think the build-up's going to be fun. The press conference is going to be interesting. It's going to be entertaining. And I think the fight's going to be entertaining because even though Sean doesn't always have exciting fights, Paulo Costa always brings the fight, and he's going to make Sean Strickland fight. So I think it's going to be a war. But I trust Sean Strickland should be able to win this fight just based off how Paulo does when he steps it up in competition and versus how Sean kind of does when he does fight powerful guys. He actually holds his own. So that's my pick. I think Islam and Strickland, they're going to win this fight. Should be an interesting co-main and main event. I'm looking forward to this card in Newark, New Jersey. And I also can't wait to see the Mac back in action. I got to do a video on that sometime soon. But let me know your thoughts just on this pay-per-view and on this card itself. And who do you see winning the co-main and main? Like and subscribe, and peace.